Every word is a brick, saliva is cement hardening the way that we think about gender or a group of people. A wall that separates us from the fact that we are all equal. An empowered girl is a hurricane that can paint the world in sunsets. Bias is a wall that tries to stop her, but her hurricane isn't done yet. An empowered girl can lead the world into change, and she can guide us into a place that's new. This is a poem to you. Let's break the bias. Bias is a wall that justifies someone laying their hands on their partner. Let's break the bias. We can break the bias by knocking it down brick by brick. We can start by diversifying the friends that we pick. We can become conscious of our bias, conscious of the way that we treat people because of their age, education, or gender. It is through being conscious that a timber heart can become tender. We can remember that being biased doesn't make you a bad person. You can knock down a wall and turn it into stairs. It is through having the courage to confront your prejudice that you can show the world that you care. The future is calling on you to shape it. Will you be there? Let's break the bias.
Hi, I'm Eric Mensah, founder of Lantern CC, organizers of the Time with Self series. I am so glad to introduce to you Time with Self. Time with Self is a channel dedicated to grooming young men and women to become better versions of themselves. This channel is specifically dedicated to career, personal development, time management, financial management, networking, health, etc. Thanks for watching our channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly click on the subscribe button. And also, don't forget to like, comment, and share our posts. Follow us. Let's help you grow. Thank you.
Let's break the bias. Good evening and welcome to Lantern CC's International Women's Day conversation. Today is Time with Self and is the International Women's Day celebration, a day dedicated to celebrate girls and women across the world. We are breaking the bias today and we're going to be having a conversation with an interesting guest who is so much breaking the bias. We're going to be speaking to Najilau Dramundu. She's a filmmaker. She's a creative director with 9th March Studios. She's going to be our guest today. I am Juliet Eteffe. I'm so glad to be your moderator today. Najilau, if you can hear me, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, and thank you, Juliet.
I must say you have a nice name. If you could just tell us the meaning of Najilau.
Thank you. Don't let me say this, but my name is Saved by Allah.
Great. If you could just kindly tell us briefly about who Najilau is.
Najilau is a filmmaker. I come from Daboya, but I grew up and I was born and I raised in Tamale till 15 years. I went to Kumasi to study visual arts at Tiamadia Senior High School. Then I studied film at NAFTI in Accra. Currently practicing what I studied in the film school. So I'm a filmmaker. I'm currently a filmmaker and I am the creative director for 9th March Studios.
Great. Did you want to be a film director from childhood?
Yeah. I didn't want to be a film director from childhood. I mean, I didn't know I could be a film director from childhood. But I always wanted to tell stories. I always had this. I was mostly a loner, so I always had this. I always found this joy in telling stories, whether it was to myself or to a single audience, or it was whatever whoever was watching. I always want to tell a story, and that was like my um one of my very easy way of expressing myself.
Well, great. When I first read your profile and have learned you're a film director and a filmmaker, I was wondering because usually some of the jobs, especially the pink ghetto, some of the jobs they think is for men and women cannot venture into those areas. So I'm actually glad to meet you, a female who is breaking the bias, who is breaking the agenda of pink ghetto, and is a filmmaker. But was this your passion? Because usually I asked earlier that did you want to do these from childhood, and you mentioned that you were interested in telling stories. What kind of stories are you interested in telling?
Um, I mean, I'm a more I tell social stories. The stories, the way I see things around me, my impression of things. I tend to believe that I understand and break things down differently, just like every single person. And telling stories is just my way of letting people understand how I understand whatever social issue that we are talking about. So that's the type of stories I tell. I tell social stories.
What do you love most about what you do?
The fact that is something that gives me joy and contentment. I find this type of joy in telling stories or in making a film or something. Like I have this power, this joy in making a film that nothing else gives me. So I tend to always want to continue.
What are some of the films you've made so far? What are some of your work? If you could just mention a few.
Right. So as until last year, I was doing mostly corporate films. I was doing what do you call it? I've worked for a lot of corporate organizations, and but as of last year, I ventured into film. So I have done A to Z, which would be showing this the end of this month. That's 31st March. Then last year, no, last month, uh, we premiered Lollipop, which will also be shown during the Easter festival festival at Crew. So it will be shown again at Crew this Easter. And then I have been working on a number of developments and stuff like that. So
Well, a girl in the film industry, I think that might not be so tedious, but society might be thinking it was tedious. How was it like for you maneuvering things through the film industry, since especially the society has made us believe it is men dominated area? How has it been like?
interestingly, it's not really a male like in my circle is not really male dominated.
Sure.
I work with a lot of women. You know, there are so many amazing female filmmakers that I encounter every day in my line of work. Either they are also directors or they are also sound people or cinematographers and all that. There are so many of them. So it's just more like when the going gets tough, you link up. You know how we tend to gather, look for people that are like us, and then create a community around them. So we have like a community of female filmmakers where anytime the going gets tough, or anytime you have the going is good, you share with them, and then it's more like it's not always when the going goes tough. I mean, it's tough, but it works in either ways. It's more like we just meet up and then give each other some sort of like support. So it's a community. I do have a community that I run to anytime I find it hard. So
Well, you mentioned when the going gets tough, and you mentioned France, and that even gives me an idea that usually what we usually hear is have around you positive people, and I actually think that is portraying in your story, isn't it?
I don't know whether it's my network, but I can barely hear you,
Well,
Juliet.
so what I was trying to say is that you mentioned in friends, and I was relating it to how we've read a lot about surrounding yourself with positive people. Has that been your case?
I head up to positive people.
Yes, surrounding yourself with positive people, and I'm asking, has that been your
Yeah.
case?
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, we it's more like a network of sisters. We have, I mean, it's made up of people from different different age groups. They have some people have been in the industry before I was even born.
Mm-hmm.
We are just there, it's a network, and some people are yet to join. I mean, if you start film today, you can join. So it's just a community where we kind of just support each other and all that.
Well, most of us tend
Yeah.
to um, pick inspiration from a lot of people that are making stride. Have anyone inspired you in this journey?
Yeah.
Have you taken inspiration
Yeah, a lot
from?
of people, yeah, a lot of people have inspired me. I mean, my, no one is an island, every I always, my personal belief is that every person you encounter either takes or adds to you, but regardless whether they are taking or adding, there's always going to be something that changes in you, right? So there's always going to be an impact. So for me, people that have been very impactful in my life, I mean, apart from my mother, my big sister, and my aunties, um, is my female female filmmakers I've met along the way, you know. And mostly I tend to relate to the female filmmakers because I'm female. Their story is easily relatable. I cannot relate it to a male story, you know, mostly because of we wouldn't go through the same we might barely go through the same experiences. So people that I really have been influenced by, or people that have had an impact into my life, include Aseye Tamaklo. She's an amazing filmmaker. She recently directed a documentary called When Women Speak. It's
Yes.
very powerful. Then I have Lauren Addy. Oh, she's so awesome. Then I, s- I have Miss Ajapra. Then I have, you know, Shelly Frimpong, so Leila Jansi,
Mm-hmm.
females that came to change the game in some ways, so many ways. And then, of course, Juliet Asante, who is currently the um, CEO of the, oh, sorry, yeah, of the National Film Authority. Um, yeah, there are people that have impacted, my life.
You're a female in this sector, so I think you're the right person I'm going to be asking this question. How are females faring in this particular sector?
How are females faring in this particular sector?
Yes, the film industry.
We are getting by. I don't understand what you mean by faring in terms of.
So in terms of, are they making strides, or
Oh yeah.
how are they contributing to the success of the sector?
Oh yeah. Like they are making strides. Remember, in every other, today is International Women's Day. A few
Sure,
years ago, today we are breaking the bias. A few years ago,
sure.
we're preaching for parity, and it's just the same. These are the same little issues that women face globally. Maybe you might not get equal pay in things that you do and all
Wow.
that, and you might have to work extra hard to be noticed and all that. You have to be somehow special in some way to be able to get by and stuff like that. But those are like little, like they are like global issues that women face, and this is not it is not different in this industry. We face that every day. But the thing is that before a woman would get into the industry, I think most of them is just uh, through sheer passion. So most of the ladies that I have met, everyone is like jeered on, everyone is jeered on, ready to like ride the waves and then get to wherever they want to get to. So for me, I mean but it's kind of the same struggles that you see, global struggles that you see everywhere. We suffer the same thing in the industry.
Well, if there's one thing
There's a story of, sorry for cutting you.
yes,
There's a
madam.
story of a lady, going on set, and then someone, you normally go to sets on, communities and stuff like that. And then some of the people in the community are trying to speak to her. They are coming to speak to the crew and ask them questions. The funny thing is that when they come, the lady is the executive producer of the whole production,
Okay.
and also, yeah, but they go straight to someone who is just who is an electrician on the set, because the person is male. So the person is worthy of speaking to, or is worthy of listening to. You get it? So these are just very interesting, but these are just things that we face daily.
Great, great. So if there's one thing I've always taken notice of, is learning from people's experience and learning from their challenges. And I believe along the way you may have some few challenges. What have been your challenge along the way?
um I mean, some of the I mean, one of the biggest challenges, I have so many, I don't know where to start from.
Is that from one?
The fact that when you are working on one of the biggest challenge, today is International Women's Day.
Sure.
So I'll spotlight this. One of the biggest challenges is the fact that if you are a woman and you are working on a production, you need to um you need to how do I say, humble yourself, extra humble yourself, or what?
Really?
I don't know how to pick, but you need to appear, you need to be super. I mean, it's not even about humility. When you are doing your work and then someone is not doing their work right, they will expect you, just because you are a woman, they will expect you to come and tell them, please, I beg you, you are not doing your work well. This is
This is
somebody you brought on to do the work, right?
mm-hmm.
They want you to beg them nicely to do the work well for them. I mean, if it's a male counterpart, person, hey, Masa, you're not doing the work well. If a woman goes to say, hey, Masa, you're not doing the work well, you have a whole problem. You get it? So this is like one of the big challenges when you are working, especially when you are working with guys on set. You need to be extra cautious of their ego and temperament. So you need to, when you are working, you need to nurse people's egos. If not, the next 5 minutes, there's going to be news out there that you are a very rude person. Meanwhile, what you did wasn't even rude, like nothing close to rude. It was just simple, like work. It was just okay, but they won't take it from you
And that
because you are.
applies to just women.
They won't take it from you because you are a woman. They
What
won't
other
take it.
challenge? What other challenge you want to share with us?
Uh, so many. Another one is I mean, there are so many. Let me just leave it at this one. There are so many interesting challenges. Maybe when we have a conversation next time, maybe that one in person. I might share a lot more challenges
Sure.
with you.
So you just tell me with the challenge you've just mentioned, as to how women have to, in a way, humble themselves to even speak to their employee if they're not doing the work right. In your perspective, what do you think could be done to change the narrative?
Um, I mean, it's just, the only reason why it happens like that is because uh, you're a woman, so instead of, like, when we get on a professional ground, instead of seeing each other's gender, let's try to see each other's portfolio. When I come to fill a position in a company, or I come to feel like a position in a project, I'm not filling that position with my gender. It's not, my gender isn't one of the qualifications to fill that position, unless of course it is,
Hmm.
because sometimes it is. um if I'm filling a position and then my gender is not one of the qualifications to fill that position, then we should move gender to the back seat and then concentrate on the skills, or the what the person brings to the table.
Good. I've always been a fan of, let's give women seats at the table because they have potential and are capable of doing it. Let's not give an extra seat to women just because they are women or just because we need others. Because I also believe that women have the potential and are capable of sitting at a table with whoever that is sitting at a table. And with just the challenges you've just spoken about, Najilau, how are you able to, beyond this challenge, make progress? How has this challenge? How have you positioned yourself to make progress regardless of some of the challenges and even those you have not even mentioned yet?
I mean, it's just about understanding your journey, you know.
Good.
And also in life, you need a little bit of politics. You need to be able to handle people. You need to be able to navigate your way around people. Sometimes it might not just be natural of you. I'm mostly creatives are like that. All I want to do is to sleep, wake up, and go and create something and come back and sleep, you know. But then the way to go around this kind of things is to learn how to deal with people, um, how to navigate around people, so that you're able to you're able to lead them well. Especially, I'm just keep saying lead, 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 because when I get on set, most of the time I'm in a position where I am leading the direction of the project. So that's why I keep saying lead, lead, lead when you get on projects. So um you just need to, for me personally, I just learned to deal with people,
Mm-hmm.
which is mostly like, on a norm, it's hard dealing with people, but I just learned to be able to deal with people. I know where my stories come in. I know where my thank you comes in, and then I'm not I'm not meek. I'm very assertive, and then I know what I
Okay.
want. So I can tell you sorry the next time, and then I can stand on my feet and tell you, get out, and mean it.
Good. Good. I hope people have not taken your assertiveness to be rude because usually that's what happens when you're being confident, when you're being assertive, they tend to see you as being rude. I hope they haven't
Yeah,
taken you for that.
that's why I massage it with a lot of stories. Sprinkle a lot of stories around.
Sure, sure. How has mentors played a role in your career journey? We've always learned to rely, not solely rely on, but learn from a mentor. Do you have a mentor? If yes, how has he or she played a role in your career journey?
I'm honestly yet to have like one person like this is my mentor. I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of people that have impacted my life. A lot of people that I have seeked advice from. I still seek advice from, when like I mentioned the ladies I mentioned earlier. There are a lot
Mm-hmm.
of them that I seek advice from anytime I have issues. But I am yet to specifically pick a person and say this is my mentor. But then that's also because, growing up, I have always been the one person that that I've been that person that always self-develop. I just go learn. If I want to do something, I just go look for ways to do it and then learn how to do it. I I'm always like that kind of person with my curiosity and all that. So it's always been, before you even like I meet someone who would even train me, I might just have already gone and gotten a whole idea about it and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it made it really difficult to depend on someone for guidance, you know. But I am yet to, I think I'm ready to get someone to guide me, propel to the next level.
Sure. The fact that you've learned from others' story is great. And tonight we're also learning from a lot from your story. And being a filmmaker, I am repeating this again, being a filmmaker and a female, and today's International Women's Day. I'm just proud talking to you. But what would be your advice to that young lady that is on the journey of building her career?
First of all, don't give up. And then again, assess the journey you are on and make sure that it is really the journey you want to be in. Because when you are building career, you're not talking about a month or a week or I mean a year. You're talking about long periods, So you're investing a lot of your time into this process or this journey. So you need to be very sure that it is the journey that it is what you really want to do. Then you would be able to make the right decision for yourself. I mean, personally, I have had start when I was starting. Funny enough, um, I stopped being a freelancer in March
Okay.
2019, and I started my
Okay.
company on 9th March 2019. So tomorrow is going to be my third year um, running my company. I was
Hooray.
freelancing yeah, I was freelancing after school because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I remember one of my lecturers asking me, Naj, what do you want to do? There was an option of having my master's, but I wasn't really like sure whether I wanted my master's at that point. I was a teaching assistant in NAFTI after
Okay.
school. So when I was teaching assistant, he asked me, "What do you want? What do you really want to do?" I wasn't sure I wanted to get my master's at that time. So from there, I was just freelancing. I freelanced from 2017 to 2019. And freelancing took me to so many places. I don't really travel. So when I travel, it's work that has traveled with me. So it made me get to know a lot of places. Then I got to, what do you call it? I got to Garu in northern region. And that was when I
Okay.
decided that, we have to this is the journey I want. If I was able to leave Accra from one part of Accra and travel by bus, I didn't fly, all the way to Garu in upper upper east region, this is really the journey I want to embark. And this is
Okay.
like a life, this is a long-term thing. This is a
Yeah.
long-term contract. So if I'm investing in my craft, I don't think twice. And that is what you should do. You should be able to be sure of your journey. That way you will never get second guess investing into it. You
Good.
will never second guess and when you know what second guesses does, right? It makes you think, it makes you hesitate, and hesitation leads to opportunities, you know. So if you are embarking on a journey, career development, please be sure that this is a journey that you want to undertake for a very long time. If it's a short term one too, please don't forget to strategize.
Good.
Strategy is the best. People see me and then they ask, "Oh, Naj, why have you done this? Oh, Naj, why have you done this?" What it is because I have a strategy. So when it is not going my way, it's fine for me. When it's going my way, it's fine for me. If it's over going my way, I don't get overly carried away because I have a plan to follow. So there are times that good things are happening to me, but I'm able to always like stay in check. And there are times that bad things are happening to me and I'm still able to stay in check. And that's because I have my plan. So never forget to strategize. And it all starts with a career development plan.
Great. This part of the story is intriguing. It's so intriguing because, well, if you are waiting whilst waiting, build capacity. And what you just said reminds me of what I always say that the opportunity, usually opportunities don't hit you, but whilst you work towards the opportunity as well. So when it comes, you are ready for it. You've been freelancing and now you're doing your own work. And that is so inspiring enough. And I actually think that most of us now we don't see ourselves doing that now. We want the opportunity quick to come. But you have taken time to learn under people and to build something you want. And just like you said, we should be sure of the journey. But you've just advised us. What would you advise us not to do?
What would I
So you
advise you
just
not to do?
advise young women, yes. So per your experience, what would you advise young people or especially young women not to do, especially on their journey to career?
Right. Don't compare yourself to other people. Everybody has different journeys. I always see like my whole work, everything I do, I see it as a journey, right? Everybody has like different journeys. So never compare yourself to or your journey to another person. You have your strategy, you follow it, you revise it. I revise my career development plan strategy. I develop it every 21st November.
Okay,
So you find a time or you can do yours monthly if you are a better person than me. You can do yours monthly, but or you can do it quarterly or whatever. But always revise your plan, strategize, stay, never compare yourself to your journey to that of others. People have different, some people their own is like they want to reach something that is like 2 years away from them. You are reaching something that's probably 2 years away from you, but your journey is different. What you get at the end of the day is different from what you get at the end of the day. So don't compare yourself to others. When you do that, that's when you start to get unnecessary pressure to be somebody you are not. And then again, when you begin to get unnecessary pressure, you begin to make mistakes. And mistakes are just simply your downfall, or are just going to be what would bring up your downfall. So please, never compare yourself or your journey to that of others.
yeah, don't compare your journey to that of others. So, on same advice, what is the one advice someone has given you that has guided you throughout?
Advice someone has given me
Yes, that
and it
one
has
advice you
guided
always
me
remember.
through. Is it business or is it, life advice?
Yes, both life
Juliet,
and business.
I life advice. Okay. So when I was turning 13 years old, my auntie, my auntie, I love this woman so much. And she said to me that I'm 13, so that means I'm a teenager. And as a teenager, I am supposed to know the right from wrong. And every mistake or every um, good thing that I achieve is my responsibility. It's onto me. No one else is sharing it with me. So as a teenager, because of her advice, I tend to I became very self-aware. In everything I do, I know that I am responsible for it. So I mostly do not have regrets, and I always think over the decisions I make before I make them.
Great. Great.
Yeah.
Before I take your last words, this is the Lantern CC Time with Self is International Women's Day discussion, and we're having discussion with Najla. Oh, yeah, I think I got to try this time
Yeah,
around.
that's last. You're saying that.
Yes, we're having a conversation with Naj. Naj, this year's International Women's Day team, the campaign team is on Break the Bias. In your view, what do you think could be done to break the bias?
I can't hear you.
So I'm actually asking you, based on this year's International Days um, team, which is Break the Bias. In your view, what do you think could be done to break the bias?
Um, Breaking the bias. We need to begin to see things very differently. We need to stop stereotyping people. We need to see people for beyond, like we need to see people beyond um their, I don't know, we need to see people beyond their, I think I'm just gonna use stereotypes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to, and we need to also see ourselves beyond the stereotypes that we put in ourselves, right? You are you've been able to get a degree doesn't mean, and you've been able to get a degree doesn't mean that you can't go and learn a skill that would make you, I mean, make you something that will make you a better person. You've been able to, you are a Muslim doesn't mean that you cannot do something that you really think would be able to, like, would better your life. That you are black doesn't mean that you should restrict yourself to things that what do you call it, black people easily do. That you are a woman doesn't mean that you cannot stand for your rights and then ask for what you truly deserve. That you are I don't know, but it's just a lot. But we just need to be able to like break through the various things that like hold us back. There are so many, we know there are so many they call it, is it inherited memory that holds us back when we want to do something. That doesn't mean that we cannot be able to like break through it and then be better people. For me, this year's International Women's Day, breaking the bias, one thing that I'm going to do for myself is that I'm going to learn a skill. I want to be a carpenter. uh, Not a carpenter, but I want to have basic carpentry skill by this year and this time next year. And that is simply because it adds to my journey. It adds to my journey in a way that I want to. I'm an artist. I studied visual arts back in school. If you were hearing from the beginning, and I just feel like I can delve a little bit into art direction when I finally finish my studio. So I wouldn't want to be have the studio and always fold my hand and watch people, do the work for me. So I want to learn basic carpentry skills, and also I think I need a hobby because my work is basically like my hobby. So I want to learn something new that is kind of different from my work. Also for this year, breaking the bias, I'm going to be moving solely corporate. That is, I am going to cut a little bit on doing productions myself, but then again, mobilizing people and mobilizing money for people to be able to do more productions. That is few things that I have listed for myself. It's just two: going more corporate in mobilizing, people and resources for more production, and then two, learning intermediate carpentry skills by this time next year.
Great. Moving beyond the stereotypes. Now, I'll be reading the comments in the comment section soon. But one person is very interested in knowing what the future holds for Nash. So, Nash, in the next 5 years, what does the future hold for you?
So I have this little piece of paper that I read to myself almost every day. Sometimes I forget. It says that in the next 5 years, when you introduce Najilau, like you just introduced me, you introduce me as a owner of a movie how a movie production house or a media and entertainment company that releases films every year, and those films are competitive worldwide, that owns a streaming service that combines, I don't know, this is like a value proposition. I don't want to say it here because I read it to myself already, but that owns like a streaming house that is more than just a streaming house. And also it's like something that comes to kind of give filmmakers hope and transparency in their work. And then also finally that creates trains and then what do you call it, develop talents for content creation. That's all.
Sure.
If I
Lijenfi is actually asking if you could share your strategy template and career development with him.
I can share it with you. I had a template that I used to share with people that that are interested in also doing that. I think I'll just find it and send it to you.
Great.
I don't type it. I write it. So for mine, I write it. So I can just find the one that I've typed before and send it to you. So
Great. So I'll just
you can contact me on any of the social media.
great. Before I take your last words, I'll just read some few comments in the comment section. Hayford says Naj is a very smart and innovative person. Can't wait to hear her speak. Was she has spoken and she has said a lot that we are all learning from. Praise bar for as someone said, I'm enjoying my media bestie, and that was referring to me. Um, okay. Then Lijenfi says, looking beyond a person's action to find their motive really helps. That's a take from what Naj has spoken about earlier. Prince asks again that please ask her what she's aspiring to be in the future. Prince, she just spoke about what the future holds for her. And Naj, let's take your last words. What would be your last words for
I
our viewers and
I
listeners?
can't really hear you. Can you hear
So
me?
I'm actually asking that let's take your last words for our viewers and listeners.
Okay. Right. So like every creator or every leader, I'm just grateful that I've got this opportunity to share my journey with you. And then I know that I'm very positive that this video being I mean, leaving this video up here, someday a lot of people would come back to this video just to listen or just to know what my journey has been. And this is like a very great opportunity to leave traces of myself. I said I'm an artist that, like I said, I don't talk much. I am more of like an introvert when it comes to I am social, but I'm more of an introvert when it comes to bringing out my ideas. And my art is mostly like my life. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my life with you and then to the world, and any person that is, I don't know when you are seeing this video.
Naj, Naj, okay, I think she has an issue with her network. Naj, yeah, you're back. Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right. So can I continue?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, I think then, sorry about that. I think my network is bad. So regardless of the time that you are meeting this video, this is my journey, and then I'm very grateful if you are meeting this video for encouragement or for some sort of what do you call it, inspiration on your life. Just remember never to give up. I this when I started 3 years ago, when I started 5 years ago, when I started 7 years ago, it's always been a very hard journey, and every year things get better, and they always get better beyond my expectations. So if you are here seeking for inspiration, remember it will always get better. Also, if you are here seeking for my story, you know that right after I end this call, I still make more. I still make more, create more content. So my story keeps growing. It will never stop. Thank you very much.
Never stops, she said, and she one thing that I'm keeping a lot of things, but one thing for sure I am keeping is you're your own race. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Your race
I
is
cannot
different.
hear you.
Well, Nash, I was actually
I cannot hear
reiterating what
you.
he just said. So I was actually reiterating what he just said. That never give up, and that your race is different from someone else's race. And so, for that matter, be on your lane, mind your business, build your own capacity. It's been nice speaking with you, Nash. I'm sure we'd have a lot of conversation after this video. But if you just tune in, well, we are ending, but you're not too late. You can go back to watch the interview all over again. This is Lansing CC Time with Self. It is the International Women's Day edition, and it's Break the Bias. We take a short video and we get back.
Hi, I'm Eric Kweku, founder of Lantern CC, organizers of the Time with Self series. I am so glad to introduce to you Time with Self. Time with Self is a channel dedicated to grooming young men and women to become better versions of themselves. This channel is specifically dedicated to career, personal development, time management, financial management, networking, health, etc. Thanks for watching our channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly click on the subscribe button. And also, don't forget to like, comment, and share our posts. Follow us, and let's help you grow. Thank you.